everyone, this is MasterMax88, and welcome back to a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaire's. A brand new update just dropped, adding 3 more nights to this incredible visual novel. And of course, NightFox, the game dev, was kind enough to send me a copy so I can start making videos about the new content. So once again, a huge thank you to NightFoxWorks, the wonderful writer and game dev of a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaire's. If you want to get a copy of your own, you can of course support the game on Patreon. There's going to be a link for that in the video description. That's going to get you a download link for the latest version of this game. And there's already a bunch of patrons. Look at that. The list keeps expanding. Whenever there's an update, there's more and more Patreons of this game, and it's a beautiful thing to see. We have new people such as Luigi. So, don't you want to be cool like Luigi? Deep down inside, you know you want to. But, that said, I'm gonna delve right into this brand new update and see what was added. Now, something I need to mention is the fact that I had to start some brand new save files, which is something that is mentioned in the patch notes. If you start from previous save files, you will get some bugs and some errors that ultimately could crash the entire game. So, if you're picking up this brand new update, just so you know, you need to start from scratch and build your way up all the way to where you were at last time you played. Now, I have 3 save files here. There's a very good reason for that. The middle one focuses on Lexi the Shark, so that's going to be the main focus of that one save file. So we're going to see what happens with that character. The first save file obviously focuses on Chiku, as you can imagine. And the last one is just trying to complete the main quest, which is to free all of the animatronics from the control of Mr. Smith. So, last save file is really all about completing the main story. First one is all about, well, you know, helping Chiku as much as I possibly can. So, that's my main save file, and that's where I'm gonna start this, this video here, and that's where I'm gonna resume the story. Now, it's rather interesting that I'm starting on Night 5. Why is that? The reason why I'm going back to Night 5 is that I missed a lot of stuff in Night 6. Main thing being the storyline around Sawyer Peck. That's the actual name of the character, by the way. I'm not saying I saw your Peck. I'm saying that's the character here. You'll get it, okay, as I proceed here, so just stick around. I swear, this is nothing weird. Just, please, stay tuned, okay? You'll see. So, anyway, back to the story we go. Once I get home, I have some spare time before I have to sleep. After the night's events, I get the gut feeling that dealing with Sawyer Peck, that's the whole name, soon rather than later will be the best thing for everyone involved. So, ultimately, the only thing I'd change in my playthrough of Night 5 is instead of having Type 0 hunt Sawyer Peck, I had her give me the physical address as well as the phone number of Sawyer, so that way I can meet him in person. So that's what we're about to do here. As my mom used to say, the longer you let crazy simmer, the worse the stew will be. Okay? A mom knows best. What can I say? I have Sawyer's number and address thanks to Zero. That's what I was talking about. But showing up out of the blue wouldn't be safe. He's a very suspicious fella. If you've seen all my previous videos, you know that guy can't really be trusted. Not just because of where Sawyer lives in the city, he strikes me as the type to shotgun random visitors who knock on his door. Instead, I text him asking if we can meet. He texts back the address of a public park and a time 30 minutes from now. We don't have a lot of time to make it there, so we better get going. I'll have to really hoof it to get there in time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 30 minutes is not a whole lot of time. Meeting in public should be safer, but it also means summoning Zero might cause issues if I'm not careful. Still, this is my best shot to hear from Sawyer, so I take it. And here we are, this lovely public park. 28 minutes later, I'm seated on a bench, watching early morning joggers and old people moving about the city park. A man in an oversized black trench coat and a ski mask slips onto the bench beside me. See, this is what I meant about that guy being suspicious. You see someone like that approaching you, that doesn't really inspire confidence. You know, like, that's the kind of person you want to stay away from. He speaks in a terrible imitation of a Batman voice. I'm pretty sure I can pull that off. And there's the full name, by the way. See, this is what I was talking about. That's the full name of the guy, Sawyer Peck. It's brilliant. Were you followed, brother? No. Were you? Of course not. The agents of orthodoxy can track me. It's starting to sound more like Hulk Hogan than Batman at this point. I'm sorry, guys. I probably should just stop. Oh, good. He's one of those types. I had a feeling, but this confirms his brand of crazy. So why is it that you want me to quit my job at Frenni Fazclaire's? How did you even get my number in the first place? Sawyer shuffles on the bench, looking out across the small hills of dew-covered grass. It was easy to look up your number. The government tracks everything you do. That they do. All I had to do was break free of their mind control and listen to the wind. Very poetic. I appreciate that. Okay, and why should I quit? Because those girls ain't right. They're part of the global conspiracy to upload everyone's minds to the Matrix so the Lizardmen can control our thoughts. Yeah, he's definitely one of those types. Okay, I see what it is. And by the way, another link to the Matrix. I swear to God, this Mr. Smith guy is totally Agent Smith. I'm seeing connections all over the place in this visual novel. It needs to happen. Like, the big reveal at the end is that Mr. Smith is Agent Smith. So, it would be so good. Like, honestly, that'd be such a great reveal. This is getting me absolutely nowhere. I had a feeling Sawyer wasn't playing with a full deck of cards, but this all confirms he's either gone insane, or always was. Still, as crazy as he may be, I might be able to glean some useful information if I get him talking about the right thing. Damn, really? What isn't right about them so I know exactly what to avoid? And also, like, come on now. This guy's implying that there's something wrong with Chiku. We all know that's bullshit, right? We're all on the same page when it comes to that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Chiku. So, come on now, Sawyer. Clearly you're not seeing things through. The bear is actually a siren in disguise. Her songs twist your mind and make you weak to her psychic emanations. The fox is always in the hen house, feeding upon the carrion's lord's corpse. See, I've always known that to be a fact about Fexa, though, so we're thinking the same thing about Fexa. That's reassuring. The bunny is a stripper. We're gonna keep it short for that one. We'll keep it short for that one. Just short and sweet. The bunny's a stripper. And what about Chiku? What do you have to say about Chiku? Now choose your next words carefully, boy. He shifts uncomfortably. His legs close in reflexively, as if to guard his crotch. Oh, it's that guy. It's that guy. You'll remember that there was a bit of an incident. The chicken lures you in with promises of a feast, only to take what makes you a man. Now that's on you, man. That is completely on you. Chiku did not consent, nor Chiku was interested at all in you, Sawyer Peck. So, you brought that upon yourself. Alright? The only thing Chiku did was to defend herself. Just want to make that clear. I decide to lean into his performance, hoping for further information. I see. Thanks for telling me. I've noticed some of those things too. What more can you tell me about the chicken? I don't want to lose anything to her. I'm not sure it's wise to make him talk more about Chiku. I don't like what he's saying. She works for them? You know, the matriarchy. They want to shackle all men and make us... Those they deem unworthy end up castrated and sent to the psychic crystal mines in Nevada. For all Americans watching this video right now, is that an actual thing in Nevada? More specifically, anyone that may live in Nevada? Can you tell me more about those psychic crystal mines? I'd be curious to know more about them. Honestly. Seems like quite the place. I didn't know there were psychic crystal mines in Nevada. Sawyer is very eager to explain that to me as he launches into a monologue. Oh boy, here he goes. It's extremely clear to me that this man needs help. Right now, he seems harmless, but it's a short drive from conspiracy nut to murderer. I need to figure out how to get him to leave me alone. But first, I'm curious about one thing. What was that about a carrion lord and the fox? He scratches his left forearm, as if it were some sort of nervous tick. She takes the souls of men and binds them into plastic soldiers to fight for her amusement. You know, like, words of warning against for Fexa Simps. There's been, like, multiple warnings for you guys. Like, if you remember in Fat Nights at Frenny's, you've been warned that Fexa is literally gonna crush your bones, right? She's gonna crush your bones into dust. Now, you got another warning right here that Fexa takes the souls of men, and then she's gonna turn you into, like, little plastic soldiers to do her dirty bidding. Like, so just... careful, man. Be careful. Use caution. Her forces are too great for the Army of Light to handle. She invades the rightful property of men, and she also dominates every single pole that Fatal Fire puts up. Every time Fexa comes up in a pole, she always, like, dominates those as well. It's crazy. Her army is far too great. Alright, thanks for your intel. I can't say too much, but you may have just helped save countless lives, and possibly countless souls. We can't meet again, the risk to the both of us is far too great. You need to stay safe and keep your head down. Of course, of course. Glad I could help the forces of light. El Psi-Congru? Brother! Like, once again, like, summoning his inner Hulk Hogan here. Maybe there's a connection there. Sawyer stands, looks about nervously, flips up the corners of his trench coat, then hastily leaves the park. I'm not entirely sure he's been dealt with, though. Maybe I should have Zero haunt him for a bit. Yes. Yes, we should. Absolutely, 100%, no doubt about it. Let's have Zero haunt him. It might be for the best for Zero to monitor Sawyer until I'm absolutely sure he's no longer a factor. The added benefit to that plan is Zero can mess with Sawyer and drive him to do something that'll get the cops called if he tries anything further. Zero is really good with those things. It's a bit macabre, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Also, macabre is a beautiful, fancy word. People should use that one more often, so kudos to NightFox for adding it to the text. I know Zero will do her best to keep me safe. After shooting off a text to that effect, Zero sends one back. Okay, I will watch him. I left you a batch of cookies in your apartment, and she made us cookies. Zero is just becoming better and better with every single night here. She's the best. After Chiku. This entire affair wasted all the time I had before I had to sleep. I'll research more after I wake up. I awake 9 hours later. You know, that's taking a big risk. That's always taking a big risk, but I'm gonna say no. I have better things to do than give in to the horny. Words of wisdom right here. Words of wisdom. I'm just leaving the screen on that one quote here so you can just, like, drink it in, man, and think about this. Anyway, moving on. I'll work out, shower, then have an hour to kill before I have to head to work. I might as well research something, even if I can get too deep into anything right now. I'm gonna go for AI and coding. I know that's a big part of solving the main quest, so we're gonna research that one. I pick up a few more concepts and coding techniques, but nothing major at this point. At the very least, I can start to understand programmer jokes I've seen on social media. The hour passes faster than expected, my alarm goes off, and I head to work. And I remember night 6 being rather brief, so it shouldn't take too much of our time, and with how this has been going, night 6 is going to be the entirety of this video. The next video will focus on night 7 and be entirely dedicated to night 7, so stay tuned. Hey, if you're not subscribed yet, be sure to do so. The sound of light guitar riffs filters through the club when I get to work. Now, I may have gone through all of this before, so some of the things are going to repeat here. It was mostly the Sawyer Peck storyline that I hadn't seen before, but this here most likely did show up in a previous video of mine, so yeah. I'm still going to go through it, though, as a refresher. I expect to see all the girls practicing on stage once more, but this time, it's just Boni. She's seated on the edge of the stage, her legs dangling over the side as she hums to keep herself on beat. Hi Josh, you're early. Only by like 5 minutes. Still, it's better to be early than to be late. Very true. Here, Mr. Smith said I should give you your task list directly tonight. She hands me a list, well, more like 2 bullet points. Test Boni's new conversational suit, and do not mess with the animatronics. What about that? Yep, the customers kept complaining I wasn't stimulating enough for them, so Mr. Smith worked with his buddy to upgrade my subroutines. I feel like I have so many things to say and only so much time to say them. You certainly seem more animated. Well, if all I have to do is chat with you, then it's gonna be an easy night. Wanna go sit at the bar or something? Boni hops off the edge of the stage and follows me to the bar. She leans over behind the bar to grab a carrot to nibble and suck on. I bet a lot of people are jealous of that carrot right now. Do you actually need to eat? Can you taste things? I've always wondered. We can convert foodstuffs into extra energy or store it for later. You might already know this, but when customers try to drink with us, we store the liquor to put back into the bottle later. Yeah, that is something we've learned before. I feel like that's a health code violation on so many levels. It's not like we contaminated or anything. Besides, Mr. Smith is all about cutting costs where possible. All signs of a good businessman right there. Hey, sometimes you've got to cut the corners. Speaking of, your new programming. Have your commands been updated as well, or have some been removed? Her eyes flash red and blue before she answers. A good amount have been updated, but I can give you an exact number, security protocol and all that. Besides, that's boring stuff. Ask me something juicy. Alright, which of the other girls would you date if you could? That's a tough one. I think I'd have to go with Frenni, if only because she's got that whole dummy mummy vibe, and I'm totally down for that. Hopefully there's more fan art of Boni and Frenni being shipped together, by the way, because this is something we discovered in one of my previous videos. Hopefully more fan art has been created ever since. I'm going to skip a little bit ahead because most of the conversation we had with Boni was featured in a previous video of mine, so I don't want to repeat the entirety of it. If you want to see the whole conversation with Boni, just look up my previous video in my Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaire's playlist. Just take a look at my Night 6 video. I go into the entire conversation we have here with Boni. But for the sake of this video here, I'm just going to go ahead and proceed to the most important bit of this conversation. And here it is. Anything you wanted to ask me? It's been kind of one-sided. Boni thinks, then grins and asks, if you only have one of us girls, which would it be? And there it is, the burning question. where you can either choose one of the main 4 girls, or just go with there's no right answer to that, or say that you're not interested in any of the main 4 girls. Like, for instance, in my playthrough, where I'm trying to get to Lexi the Shark, this is the option I would choose here, to try and score points with Lexi the Shark. But since this playthrough is all about Chiku, obviously I'm gonna keep it that way. But, you know, one thing that got me curious, what would be Bonfi's response if I take another option than Chiku? For instance, if I take Frenni, what would she say? Because for Chiku, she just goes and says, figures you'd like the quiet types. That's her answer. But if we pick Frenni, what would she say? Frenni, I think. Oh, I knew you also like dummy mummies. Okay. Interesting response. If we go with Fexa, she goes, figures you like the more submissive types. Excuse me, what? Fexa submissive? That does not compute in my brain. Fexa always came across as the most dominant of the bunch, right? Fexa's the aggressive one. Fexa's the one that, you know, it's got all the muscles and all the power, so ain't no way Fexa is submissive. I can't believe that. That is so weird. So weird to me. Really? That's sweet of you to say. And that's all she says to that. She just blushes a little bit. Alright. Alright. I was just a little bit curious here. I can't believe she would say that about Fexa. I really can't believe it. Anyway, and then Bonfi goes back to her pod, and then she shakes her hips and her booty, as you would expect her to do. I checked the time. I've got plenty of time to kill now that all my assigned tasks are done. This might be a good chunk of time to spend exploring the HVAC system. It might let me enter some of the more restricted areas or get away from any danger. I'm not expecting to find any more major secrets, but I never know when it comes to Frenni Fazclaire. An hour later, I've managed to map about 85% of the vents, and I believe that takes us to the end of Night 6. Or actually, no, we get to do a little bit more research. So once again, I'm going to put the emphasis on AI encoding. I know that plays a huge part into the storyline, into the main quest. There you go. I'm getting better at programming and becoming what is known as a power user. At this point, I can read most forms of code and generally understand what's going on. I can even write a few semi-helpful scripts of my own. After a few hours of researching, my shift comes to an end. And before I leave for the night, I get one text from Zero. Or maybe several. I don't know. Someone broke into Sawyer's apartment just now. There was a gunfight. I'm fine. He's dead? The police are writing it off as gang violence, but I think it was a hit. Damn! Either Sawyer was closer to the truth than I thought, or he was a victim of pissing off the wrong neighbors. I'm worried that might mean I'm next if I piss Smith off or get fired. I've made it through another night somehow. So this took a different turn than when I first played Night 6. There's a lot more to the intrigue and a lot more to the story. So evidently I made the right choices here. And I'm gonna go ahead and save. And as I continue in my next video, we're gonna continue into Night 7 and see the brand new content that was added to a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaire's. But I really thought it would be important to complete Night 6 properly. I feel the whole bit with Sawyer is gonna play a big role in the rest of the story. So I want to take the time to do this and also do a bit of a refresher when it comes to a Fortnight at Frenni Fazclaire's. So definitely stay tuned. Don't go too far. This will continue it will be my next video in all likelihood. And then there's going to be night 8, and then there's going to be night 9, and that's going to give us pretty much a good look at everything that was added to the game. I know there's some new scenes that were added, a scene with Lexi the Shark, and also a scene that, if I remember correctly, involves both Lexi and Zero. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss out on that. So definitely be sure to be subscribed. Be sure to support NightFoxWorks, whether it be on Patreon or Twitter. You can also get some updates about the development of this visual novel on Twitter. So I'm going to have both links in the video description. NightFox has been incredibly kind to me and this channel, always keeping me in the know, always giving me the updates. And I appreciate everything NightFox has been doing. So why don't you, like, you know, help him out too, right? Just follow him on Twitter, even go on Patreon if you can, and just support him. He's a great fella, and he's always been very supportive to this channel right here. So that's really gonna be it for me. I'm gonna just stop it here and invite you to stay tuned. Once again, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for Night 7. It'll be very interesting, and I'll see you there. So don't forget to join the Great Legions Discord server if you haven't yet. You can take a look at my own Patreon page to help with all future content. There wasn't a whole lot of censored content for this one here, but there definitely will be with the added scenes, as I've just talked about, the one with Lexi and the one with Lexi and Zero in it, so good reason to support me on Patreon there. But for now, that's really it, so thank you so much for watching, and with that, as always, take it away. I'm at the